Every person alive is in a hurry for something. A better life, a faster result, an easier road. But there is one thing no amount of hurrying has ever produced. And the wisest people who ever lived knew exactly what that thing was. In a quiet village on the edge of a valley, there lived an old man named Thomas. He had no title, no famous students, no books written in his name. What he had was a garden and a reputation that traveled slowly, the way all true things do. People said, if you carry a question that will not leave you alone, go to Thomas, not for a quick answer, but for the right one. Every morning before the sun fully rose, he could be found in that garden, moving without hurry, tending each plant as if it were the only one, watching things grow with the patient eyes of a man who had long ago made peace with the fact that nothing real happens fast. He had not always been this way, but that is a story for another time. One morning, a young man named Edward arrived at the garden gate. He was 26, sharp, ambitious, the kind of young man who walked as if he were always slightly late for something important. He had tried everything. He had read books on success, attended lectures on discipline, followed the advice of a dozen different mentors. He had started 3 businesses. All 3 had failed, not slowly, but with the particular violence of things done too quickly. Now he stood at the old teacher's gate, slightly out of breath, and called out, "I was told you could help me. I need to know, what is the secret to building something that lasts?" Thomas looked up from the soil. He studied the young man for a moment. Then he said, "Come in, but leave your hurry at the gate. There is no room for it here." Edward came in. He sat on a wooden bench and waited impatiently, the way he did everything, while the old man continued tending his plants without any apparent urgency. Finally, Edward said, "I came here for wisdom, not to watch gardening." Thomas smiled without looking up. "You came here for an answer you could take with you immediately and use by tomorrow. That is not wisdom, that is a shortcut, and shortcuts," he said quietly, pressing his finger into the dark soil, "are why you are here." He picked up a single, small seed from a wooden bowl. "Do you know what this is?" Edward looked at it. "A seed." "In 40 years, Thomas said, this will be a tree that gives shade to people who are not yet born." He placed it gently in the soil and covered it. "I will not see it fully grown, neither will you, but we plant it anyway." Edward stared at the small mound of earth. "That," said Thomas, standing slowly, "is the first thing I have to teach you." Edward did not understand. Not yet. He thanked the old man politely and left. He told himself the old teacher was simply eccentric, out of touch, that the world moved faster now, and patience was a luxury for people without real ambitions. He threw himself back into his life with even more intensity. He started another venture, pushed harder, slept less, demanded results from himself and everyone around him before the ground had time to settle. 6 months later, it collapsed again. He sat in the ruins of another thing he had built too fast, and he heard for the first time clearly the old man's voice in his mind. "Shortcuts are why you are here." He went back. The garden looked different now. Or perhaps Edward did. He walked to the spot where the seed had been planted and stopped. There, small, unhurried, impossibly alive, was a thin green shoot pushing up through the soil. It had not rushed. It had not forced itself. It had simply grown, quietly, steadily, in its own time. Edward stood there for a long moment. He did not say anything. He did not need to. Thomas appeared beside him and stood quietly, waiting. He was very good at waiting. When Edward finally spoke, his voice was different, slower, heavier, more honest. "I think," he said, "I have been building on top of soil I never prepared." Thomas nodded once. "Now," he said, "you are ready to learn." They sat together as the sun moved across the sky, and Thomas spoke, not quickly, not with the urgency of a man trying to impress, but with the measured calm of someone who had learned every word he was about to say through living it. "There are 2 kinds of people, Edward. Those who want to harvest before they have planted, and those who plant knowing they may never see the harvest. The first kind build fast and lose fast. The second kind build slowly, and what they build outlasts them." Impatience is not energy. It feels like energy, but it is fear wearing the mask of ambition. It is the terror of not being enough, not getting there in time, not mattering before it is too late. Patience is not slowness either. Do not misunderstand me. Patient people work harder than anyone, but they work without panic. They build without rushing the foundation. They trust, and this is the hardest part. They trust that if they do the right thing, in the right way, the right result will come. Not always when they want it, but always when it is ready. Edward said nothing for a long time. Then, how do you learn to trust that? Thomas looked at the garden around them. The same way a tree learns to trust the rain, he said. You stop trying to pull yourself upward, and you put your energy into the roots. Edward never forgot that afternoon. He did not transform overnight. Real change never does. But he began, slowly, deliberately, to build differently. He prepared more before he moved. He asked more before he decided. He measured twice and cut once. He planted things, knowing he would not see them fully grown. Years passed. The business he built in his 30s did not collapse. It grew slowly at first, then with a quiet, unstoppable momentum that fast things never quite achieve. He became, in time, the kind of person others came to for advice. And when they came to him, full of urgency, full of impatience, full of the particular anxiety of people who are in a hurry to matter, he would take them to his garden, show them something growing, and say, gently, leave your hurry at the gate. There is no room for it here. The world will always reward speed with attention, but it rewards patience with something far more rare: permanence. The tree that grows in a season falls in a storm. The tree that grows over decades bends, but holds. Whatever you are building right now, your career, your family, your character, yourself, do not rush the roots. The branches will come. They always do. What are you being impatient about right now? Write it in the comments. Just one thing. You might be surprised how many people are waiting for the exact same thing. Subscribe to DeepStories. Every week, one story worth slowing down for.